There's a shitstorm coming in the motor trade.
The army evacuated everybody. Big military train derailed and this whole area is in danger of being contaminated by a huge cloud of shit. A huge cloud of shit? Wow. God, I think I smell it. Come on, let's go. Come on, Mr. Munson. Hey, everybody, there's a shit cloud coming. Run for your lives.
We've had it bad over the last couple of years due to the massive depreciation on used EVs. Because they're trying to make them so cheap that they're a no-brainer, it's affected other cars. Not as badly as it's going to though, because we're heading for the cliff edge and it won't be long, trust me. People who are telling you that everything's rosy in the EV world and are telling you that new cars are, every 1 in 4 is an EV in August, and that 1 in 10 used cars sold is an EV, and that you can save money by buying an EV, are the same ones that are running scared of EVs. Don't believe me? Let me just show you. The whole business is going to pot. A lot of people are going to lose a lot of money fast and soon. Mark my words. And in my opinion, Autotrader aren't helping matters by letting people that sell EVs play fast and loose with the rules. What do I mean? If I go into electric vehicles, search, make and model, Jeep, Autotrader's relevance search, put most recent, up to 2025, search. They're letting people get away with this. You'll see here, look, Jeep Avenger. You've seen what I've done there. I want to see the most recent. This was first advertised 4th of 11, 2024. It's done 50 miles. It's 2024 on a 24 plate. We go into it. Read full description. It was registered on the 31st of the 7th, 2024. It's 14 months old. It's done 50 miles and it's been reduced by £7,245 to £21,949. Now that vehicle, it's a longitude. Are there any other longitudes? Altitude, summit, longitude there. How does pre-registration cause depreciation? If you pre-register a vehicle and it's got one owner in, it has to be cheaper than the new one, where you're the first owner, you've got more warranty, there's only you driven it. I mean, there's only, you know, nobody will have driven these pre-registration ones, but you'll see here that there's a longitude, that's at £22,495. That's a 2025 on a 75 plate. The new plate, go up here, that's on a 24 plate, was it? July, yeah, 24. £21,949. So that's like 500 quid more. And it's got the new plate on, and it's a year younger, it's got a year's more warranty. So how is that, now that's been advertised for sale, how is that worth 21,949? It's not, is it? But do you know what makes it worse? I mean, you've got Evans Holshaw there. That's a 2025 on a 25 plate. That one is a Summit, £25,498. So a Summit, let's look for a Summit. There's a Summit, but that's 23,995. That's 25,498 for a 2025 on a 25. Let's see when it was registered. 31st of the 5th, 2025. $25,498. So this 75 plate 2025 with 25 miles on, pre-registered, because when we check in here, look, this is Evans Halshaw, who I can't stand. I worked for them for 3 days, and I only worked for them for 3 days because I couldn't hand my keys back, because the guy wouldn't come in to see me for me to hand my keys and my stuff back, because I decided at 11 o'clock on the first day that I couldn't stand working for them. Read full description. I'm going to go to this first. I have already seen on the full description the worst thing. Here we go. 10th of the 9th, 2025. It was pre-registered. But it wasn't, because we see here, this is for this brand new car registered in your name in September. So Evans Halshaw, they've deliberately put a registration number on in order to list it as a used car, but it's a new car. It's a brand new car being sold as a used car with a massive discount. How do you think that's going to affect residuals? Autotrader, because it's electric, they just don't seem to care. They have nobody checking at all. They're just playing fast and loose with the rules. And not only are they misleading customers, but they're spoiling it for other honest traders too, who play by the rules and advertise properly. Not even any photographs, look. Pictures available and a video of the exact car. Well, if there's pictures and a video of the exact car, why don't you put them? Why don't you load it up? This is how desperate they are to sell used cars. But that's not my point. I had a bit of a spat with them a couple of weeks ago, show old posts. So here we go. Cutting through the EV noise with facts that matter. With misinformation still clouding public understanding of electric vehicles, it's more important than ever to share clear, data-backed information people can trust. The BVRLA is supporting the Facts initiative from Autotrader, Charge UK, Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders, alongside EVA England, Cox Automotive Europe, ZapMap and NFDA, National Franchise Dealer Association, to help consumers make informed choices when it comes to electric motoring. So that's it. Now, I replied to them. They never answered me. They just stopped comments on that post. But you'll see here, what about running costs? Save up to £1,500 a year. Very, very small print there. What does it say? Running costs include fuel, maintenance and insurance. I mean, how small is that? But what it doesn't include is depreciation. And depreciation is the biggest killer of EVs. The depreciation on EVs means that it's cheaper to run a PHEV, a hybrid, a petrol or a diesel, because they don't depreciate as much and as fast as electric cars. But look, this is what I'm trying to get across to you. BVRLA, Charge UK, Autotrader, SMMT. See the sources. Opening Chrome. Autotrader. This is Autotrader. Electric cars, facts and figures. Whether you're thinking of buying an electric car or just doing your research, find all the facts and statistics about EVs here to make an informed decision from the biggest name in the motor trade, with all their stats, with all the figures, with all the cars that are advertised on there. That's what they say. Words by Autotrader. Next, 9 in 10 EV drivers never look back. Well, hang on a second, Baz. Why are you doing that? Why not send to devices? Opening new tab. Here we go, Autotrader. Whether you're thinking of buying an electric car or just doing your research, find all the facts and statistics about EVs here to make an informed decision. 9 in 10 EV drivers never look back. And there we go, that's where all the information comes from. But you know what? They know it's not true. How do I know they know it's not true? How do I know they're not thinking, you know, I can put my name to, like if I do anything, I 100% believe it's true. I will put my name to it. And if I'm wrong, tell me, show me, point out how I've gone wrong, where I've gone wrong. I'll hold my hands up and I'll make another video about me being an idiot and not knowing, despite having 50 years in the motor trade, I'll make a video showing I'm an idiot and I don't know what I'm talking about. AM Online, Amy Turner, 22nd of September 2025. Used EV demand hits record levels in September, reports indicator. Demand for used electric vehicles, EVs, has surged to record highs in September, according to Indicator's latest Market Watch report. The report shows the market day supply, MDS, of EVs fell to a record low of 44 days in early September, signalling strong consumer appetite and fast turnover. MDS is calculated by dividing available stock by the average daily sales rate over the past 45 days, with lower figures reflecting quicker sales. Indicator sales data supports the trend, with EVs securing an 8.2% share of the UK car market in September. Now, we're in September. It's the 25th of September. This was out on the 22nd of September. I'm assuming it's taken perhaps a couple of days to compile it. So these facts aren't accurate to start off with. An 8.2% share of the used car market in September, up from 7.6% in July. The fastest selling models are all electric, led by the BMW i3, Tesla Model 3 and Mercedes EQB. Sales of most other fuel types either fell or stayed flat, with only petrol posting a slight rise of 0.4% to 46.3%. Dean Merritt, Indicator's head of sales, said, "Our wholesale marketplace used car platform has seen dealers' used EV demand rise throughout the summer to cater for a growing consumer demand. It is another positive step forward for the used EV sector. The wider used car market remains constrained by a lack of supply. A legacy of reduced new car sales in 2021 and 2022 during the COVID pandemic. Current MDS levels range between 43 and 49 days, the lowest since June 2021. Merritt added, the industry has been looking to a strong September new car market to help kickstart growth in used car volumes. However, it looks as though it will be some time before supply fully meets demand. In the meantime, prices are likely to continue to rise." But electric vehicle prices aren't rising, are they? You know, you can do what you want overall prices and prices for sale, and then when you look places like Arnold Clark, they're giving you a free charger, but that's in the price of the car. So they've not risen. All they're doing is giving you something on top of it and including that in the price to make it look like they've risen. They've not risen. Okay? But what do you get with a used petrol or diesel? You get nothing. You get nothing. That's the price. Okay, so used EV demand hits record levels in September, reports Indicator. This is 15th of January 2025 by Gareth Rock. BVRLA warns of coming EV residual value storm. When was this? Does it give a date? Last updated 24th of June 2025. So in January they were reporting there's a storm coming. In June they're reporting that you can save £1,500 a year. Leasing companies are staring at the horizon and not liking what they see, according to the British Vehicle Rental and Leasing Association, BVRLA. It says that there's a named storm coming, and its name is electric vehicle, EV residual values. So far, leasing firms have been able to weather the impact of the 60% decline in used EVs prices since 2022. Please listen to this. Please listen. Take note. This is the BVRLA that are telling you you can save £1,500 by buying an EV. So far, leasing firms have been able to weather the impact of the 60% decline in used EV prices since 2022. The leasing companies that basically get 2 cars for the price of one, the impact of the 60% decline in used EV prices since 2022 by offsetting the disposal losses with the proceeds of healthy prices for end of contract petrol and diesel vehicles. Petrol and diesels haven't gone down, and they're worth more than they thought, whereas the electric vehicles are worth less than they thought. They are in trouble with used electrics. That's why all this shit about myths and facts, the facts are myths. But the BVRLA says in its latest quarterly report, this has only been possible because EVs constitute barely 10% of their defleeted vehicles. Petrols and diesels have saved them. But in the future, when they've got more EVs, they've had it. They've completely had it unless they do something. Unless they do something like giving EV values an atomic wedgie and dragging it up. Getting your underpants up here. That's what they've got to do. That's their mission. And seemingly to me, they don't care how they do it, and they don't care who loses money, so long as it's not their members. Right. Plus that was in January. I'm glad you pointed that out. Motor Trade News. When was this? It's by Millie Standing. September 24th, 2025. Budget must address used EV market, says AFP. Paul Hollick said that new EV grants have been successful in stimulating retail interest, and a similar move could play a role in the second-hand sector. So they want a grant on new cars and they want a grant on used cars. Do you know why that is? Because the government grant is stupid. It's wooden dollars. They knock it off the front with your taxpayers' money, and the car depreciates by an equal amount at the bottom. It's worth less. It's not holding its price any better. It's still dropping. But, okay, you've got a band there. The new price and what it's worth used. You reduce the new price, and guess what? That stays the same. It's just worth less. Why can these people not see it? Support for the used electric vehicle EV market should be a #1 priority for November's budget. Why? Why? The used EVs are flying off the shelf. They're flying off the shelf at a price that the leasing companies cannot afford to sell them at, according to the Association of Fleet Professionals, AFP. Paul Hollick pictured, let's have a look at him. Oh, yeah, that's a lovely picture of Paul Hollick. Is he pictured down here somewhere? No. So that's Paul Hollick. So no wonder he's got an interest in EVs. Paul Hollick, pictured, chair of the AFP, said new electric car grants introduced in July have been relatively successful, if not, in stimulating retail interest, and a similar move could play an essential role in the used EV sector. Hollick said, while the scheme has not been perfect, it appears to be helping make new electric cars more accessible through both direct grants and widespread substantial discounting. Being prompted by increased competition, Jeep have just reduced their Avenger by £3,750. They've just knocked it off. Really, we'd like to see a corresponding initiative for the used car sector. Why would you? Because Association of Fleet Professionals, not the motor trade, these are the people that buy them at cost, use them, hiring them out to make money, and then sell them to car dealers. But even after they've got them dead cheap, hired them out for 3, 6, 9, 12 months, they still haven't made enough money to accept what the vehicle's value is at the end of that time, because it's depreciated so much. So you as a private person, you can save £1,500 a year by buying an EV, but these professional people who get them at half price and then hire them out, they lose money. So does that sound like a reasonable statement of fact that you can save £1,500? No, it doesn't, does it? But please stay with me. While values for second-hand EVs have stabilised and the era of large month-on-month drops appears to thankfully be over, consumer interest is still variable and residual values remain simply too low. But you can save £1,500. Some form of support that helps to stimulate buyer enthusiasm, which could be anything from direct grants to interest-free loans, would be very well received by fleets. But fleets don't buy second-hand vehicles, do they? So why would they're getting a grant, they're getting them cheaper up front, so why would that be very well received by fleets? Hollick added that other EV measures the AFP would like to see in the budget include scrapping VED for electric cars and vans. But new EVs, they're 1 in 4 vehicles that sold in August were new EVs. 1 in 10 vehicles that have sold in September are used EVs. How are they doing that? Right, let's have a look at Autotrader. There's 425,000 vehicles on Autotrader. Let's just go to fuel type. There's 222,456 petrols. There's 113,850 diesels. 65,194 hybrids. And only 23,392 electrics. But they're selling 1 in 10. 2, 2, 2, 4, 5, 6 plus 113, 850 plus 65194 equals 401,500. So we'll clear that. 23,392 divided by 401,500%. So only 6% of the cars on Autotrader are electrics, but yet 1 in 10 are selling. That's remarkable. It's a remarkable achievement. So Fleet World, again, cast your mind back to the BVRLA. Got the name on the bottom of this Autotrader thing, last updated 24th of June 2025. Fleet World, 3 days ago. Why used EVs could be the next big test on the road to zero, by Toby Poston, Chief Executive, BVRLA. The UK's road to net zero runs through its used vehicle forecourts. We cannot deliver a successful electric vehicle transition without a thriving, stable second-hand market. Right now, that market is under serious pressure, but you can save £1,500 by buying a used EV. On the fact sheet, used EVs are the most cost-effective route to getting more drivers into cleaner vehicles, yet in the absence of intervention, we are seeing supply outpacing demand, prices collapsing and confidence ebbing away, with policy changes and financial commitments this summer that focused on driving registrations of new electric vehicles. It is more urgent than ever that the used market gets the attention it needs to see momentum start to build. It has been encouraging to see the government taking the transition seriously. The electric car grant and infrastructure funding were announced in July, with a further extension to the plug-in van grant confirmed last month. Such measures will support EV uptake in some parts of the market, which is welcomed. We continue to be the voice of the industry with policymakers to ensure this and any further investment delivers maximum impact for fleets and drivers. That means focusing attention where it can have the biggest impact: the used market. Why does this matter? Because almost every new EV sold today will be a used vehicle from the moment it leaves the forecourt. That supply is already surging. Increasing registration numbers today tell us what is coming to the used market in 3 years. Once initial lease agreements conclude, buyers need confidence in the quality, reliability and values of those future vehicles. Otherwise, the whole system suffers. Low residual values make new vehicles more expensive to lease or finance, deterring buyers and slowing uptake at both ends of the market, unless further OEM discounts or government grants on new cars materialise. They're knocking £3,750 off new ones. They're being sold, new cars are being sold as used. More support for the new market won't bring the long-term stability we need to see. These are the people that are telling you to buy a used one and you'll save £1,500. The more you save, the more money it costs them. The evidence is stark. Over recent years, we've consistently seen values fall and the gap between demand and supply grow. This kind of volatility doesn't just hurt resale values, it undermines business models. Whose business model does it undermine? Reduces consumer interest and risks stalling the transition at large. Concerns are widespread and it is time to back the used electric vehicle market with targeted, pragmatic support to introduce a market stabilisation scheme and take decisive action on 4 fronts. This is what they're calling for. They're telling you not to be afraid of EVs. They're shitting themselves. Don't be afraid. EVs don't catch fire. EV batteries don't go. EV batteries last the life of the car, when in fact the truth is that the car, the EV, lasts the life of the battery, because the battery's 40 to 60% the value of the car when it's new. And guess what? That's when it's new. When it's used and it's depreciated, their words, not mine, and it's depreciated to a second-hand value, the person who buys it second-hand, if that battery goes, the price is still 60% the price of a new one, not 60% the price of a used one. Therefore, the battery costs way more than the car is worth. Financial support for used EV buyers. Have you ever heard such tripe in all your life? It's not financial support for EV buyers, it's financial support at the front for them and the back so they don't lose money. Because they can't charge what they need to make EVs a business model. Where does it say? They can't charge for an EV what it costs to make a good business model and one that's not being undermined by EV resale values. National public information campaigns to boost customer awareness and trust in used electric vehicles. Do you mean like the electric cars, the facts? What about running costs? Save up to £1,500 a year? Can I charge on the go? 85,163 public chargers that cost you more than petrol? Clear, consistent battery health standards that give buyers the information they need to purchase with confidence. Targeted support for the used EV market will help increasing demand keep pace with surging supply and delivers a strong return on public spending. Timely intervention is essential to stabilise and strengthen the used EV market. There's also an opportunity to learn lessons from other countries on best practice and adapt proven approaches to strengthen the UK used EV sectors. By 2027, we're nearly at the end of 2025, the collapse in used EV values could lead to 290,000 fewer new electric vehicles being sold. But they're hitting the ZEV mandate. Colin, not proving impossible so far. They did it in 2024. No, Colin, they didn't. Looks like they're going to do it again in 2025. No, Colin, it doesn't. And it looks like they're not going to do it in 2026, and they're not going to do it in 2027, because they're forecasting it could lead to 290,000 fewer new electric vehicles being sold, with the ZEV mandate tying manufacturers' targets directly to EV volumes. This would shrink the UK's new vehicle market and present serious consequences for GDP, jobs and climate goals. Dealers are cautious about stocking used EVs, consumers are worried about depreciation, and funders are navigating rising risks. All of this is happening as manufacturers, leasing companies and fleets are being asked to invest billions in the net zero transition. If we want the UK to lead in zero emission mobility, we must start by establishing consistency and confidence in the used market. Without that stable footing, the entire EV transition hangs in the balance. And when it goes downhill, it'll go down even faster. There is a shitstorm coming like we in the motor trade have never seen before. And trust me, we've seen some shitstorms in the past. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye bye.